Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dubai Expo 2020. South Africa is hosting the Innovation and Technology Pavilion today. We are excited to have partnered with South African Innovation Summit to host this pavilion today. It's going to take place over 2 days, today on the 7th of March, and the second part on the 10th of March. The first day, we're showcasing South Africa's most innovative talent, Series A companies, to investors in the world for further investment, for more partnerships and expansion. So welcome. What we are going to be having today, first, we're going to have a keynote that is going to be telling us about what is the landscape in South Africa. And then we'll have our pitches. I'll introduce the pitches as the pitchers and the pitch time as we go along. In the meantime, I would like to invite our keynote address, which is going to be done by Mr. Philip Kirakov, the CEO of Startup Bootcamp. What he's going to be telling us about today is what tech startups and their important role in South Africa, in the continent, beyond. Stay with us, enjoy the day with us. Over to you, Mr. Kirakov.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. So first of all, let me just say that you'll tell by the accent that I'm American by birth, but I'm South African by choice. I moved to South Africa in 2013 after joining, when I first came to South Africa in 2011, to run a legendary race in South Africa called the Comrades, which is an 89-kilometer uphill battle that you have to complete in one day. And it turns out that that is an incredible experience and test of endurance, which turns out to be quite a good analogy for what technology is like in Africa today. So what I'd like to talk about for a few moments is just the viewpoint that we take and why, as a career founder and venture capitalist, I uprooted my life and moved to South Africa starting in 2013. First of all, I want to start with a graphic that some people may have seen, but is just an incredible representation of just how big the continent is. And as we watch, from myself as an American, but many people around the world, think about how large and how impressive their countries are, but most people don't realize that the 54 countries in Africa comprise such a massive geographic area. They also comprise an incredible diversity in terms of cultures and opportunities. So there's a hubris in the world around how important other places are, and that Africa is only starting to grow now. By population, the current population of Africa is about 1.2 billion, but by the end of this century, Africa is going to be one of the largest, by continent, it's going to be nearly the largest continent on the planet, and its growth rate is exponential at the moment. What this means is that many of the largest cities in Africa, many of the cities in Africa today are going to become the largest cities in the world. In fact, only in the next, by 2030, there's going to be more than 17 cities in Africa with more than 5 million people. There's 5 cities with more than 10 million people, including Johannesburg in our home country of South Africa. But by the end of this century, 13 of the 20 largest cities in the world are all going to be African. So this incredible urbanization trend is both an amazing opportunity, but also a frightening reality. So for many that have spent time in Africa, you'll know that the infrastructure and there's many things about the way that our cities work today that are a challenge. And if you take these cities and add populations that are 2 times, 3 times, 6 times, in some cases even 8 times their current numbers, you just get a staggering reality. So it's an overwhelming challenge that we're facing, and that rate of population growth is unprecedented in human history. So what this means is that there is no playbook. We can't look at things that have worked anywhere else around the rest of the world, whether it's in infrastructure, food, medicine, logistics. None of the things, money, none of the things that have worked are applicable, which means that we now have the greatest opportunity in history to take these challenges in Africa and turn them into incredible new businesses. And there's no better people than the entrepreneurs that are on the ground that are living this day in and day out, because they're the ones that are feeling the pain, that are confronted with the challenges, that understand the nuances, and can therefore create innovative solutions. So as the phrase goes, necessity is the mother of innovation. And we know from firsthand experience that the level of innovation on the African continent is second to none. So going back in history a bit, in fact, quite a bit, we know that all hundreds of millions of years ago, our descendants, our ancestors, were all clustered in small areas in Africa. And in fact, in South Africa, we have the cradle of humankind, where some of the earliest examples of human innovation can be found and visited, dating back millions of years. And when we look at this and see that for the first couple million years of human development, all the innovation, all the disruption in the entire planet was happening in our continent. And in many cases right in our own country of South Africa. But over the last 10, 20,000 years, that evolved. And today you see someplace like Silicon Valley as really the epicenter, the center of all of the disruption. And they, when you go to Silicon Valley, you'll find that there's many of the great innovators of the world are from elsewhere. In fact, one of the greatest of all, Elon Musk, is of course South African, but he had to go to the US, he had to go to Silicon Valley, where he could find the resources and the support that he needed in order to be in order to take his dream and make it into a reality. So with Startup Bootcamp, what we do is we are looking to level the playing field. We take all of the same concepts that work there, where Silicon Valley works because they've created this true ecosystem where you've got the startups themselves, the founders, but you've got tech, you've got academia, you've got universities, you've got, of course, quite a few investors, but you've got all the other support structures around that. There's mentors, there's professional services, everything, even the banking system there is designed to support high-risk founders. So everything helps create this self-fulfilling cycle. Startup Bootcamp was launched in 2010 to take that same concept of those self-reinforcing ecosystems and bring it to other hubs of innovation all around the world. So starting in 2010, we launched the first accelerator program outside the US, which was in Amsterdam and in London, and we spread across Europe, into Asia, into all continents. And in 2017, my co-founder Zach George and I launched the first ever world-class accelerator program on the African continent, based out of Cape Town. Now, it was a Pan-African program, so the same concept applies, where we're bringing the best innovators from all around the continent to Cape Town for 3 months, where they got to work with us and the methodology, but also some of the leading corporate innovators on the continent, along with investors and partners, media, support, government, in order to expand their solutions. So over the last 5 years, we've run 4 programs. We're actually in the process of selecting our 5th program at the moment, but 4 programs have been completed. We've received nearly 10,000 applications from startups all across the continent, and the Southern Africa, certainly represents about a quarter of all the applications. South Africa represents about 20% by itself. So we know that even though from a geographic and a population perspective, it's smaller and doesn't get as much attention sometimes as some of the other hotspots, South Africa, of course, is an extraordinary location. One of the most important parts of that is that While you see more startups and some of the better funded startups coming from other parts of the continent, what South Africa has that's really quite unique and advantageous is the most respected banking system on the continent. The exchange, South African Reserve Board is really the gold standard for Africa and is a world-class banking system, and it's leading the way in terms of regulations. So what this means is that for startups, especially fintech, which at the moment fintech still represents about 60% of all of the VC activity on the continent, South Africa is the best place you could possibly be. So this is just a little bit of some of the top countries where we see applications coming for programs for our program. These are a few of the, well, these are all of the alumni from the first 3 years of the program, the most recent program, and of course, sharing some of the incredible startups from South Africa. I will mention some of the startups that are coming now from our program that are actively fundraising and expanding and growing. So it really demonstrates that the launching pad that is South Africa enables startups to go into elsewhere all across the continent. So building on the back of this, we have looked at the model, and what we've realized is that one of the core pieces that's needed for solutions, fintech especially, to scale is access to a reliable banking infrastructure. And we're launching a brand new program that is partnered with a tech stack called TradeRoute, and will be able to bring startups that are looking to launch wallets and fintech solutions, payment, credit, buy now, pay later, a whole range of these types of solutions. Will be able to use our platform, our methodology, our access to funding, and it's a full life cycle fund that's going to be take startups really from the early stages, from angel and pre-seed all the way through their Series A and their Series B. So we continue to evolve as Startup Bootcamp, and we're looking forward to being part of the South African landscape and the African landscape for many years to come. And I wanted to say to the founders that are going to be presenting in the coming after this, unfortunately for us, none of them are our specific alumni, but these are really extraordinary startups that we've watched grow through our time and through our programs. And I think that for the audience, you're going to have an amazing opportunity to see some of the top innovators on the continent that are proudly South African. So be happy to take any questions or also have follow-ups from anyone that's in the audience. We are super excited and honored to have our home base in Cape Town, which we consider to be the Silicon Valley of Africa. And we're looking forward to being a part of the ongoing ecosystem for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. And thank you for that presentation, just to give us an overview of what South Africa's capability is. And you are spot on in a sense that South Africa is a very fertile ground for investment, especially the success that we've seen in fintech is the success that we are looking to see even in industrialization technologies, in our spin-out and spin-off companies from our universities and our science councils. And also what I liked about what you said is the fact that we have grown in terms of venture. We started locally as technologists in South Africa, and then now we are growing globally, where the global stage is becoming our playground in terms of access, in terms of participation, and in terms of market entry. So thank you for that. From our question and answer session, I don't see any questions from you. So I think, thank you for your presentation, and good luck with all your work at the pavilion. You can stop your presentation. Thank you. Moving forward, I just wanted to say I'm so excited that I even forgot to introduce myself. I'm Nontombi Marulin, and I'm the Director of Innovation and Technology Policy and Strategy at the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. And yeah, it's my excitement that's just making me just go straight into the agenda today. Moving forward, we're going to have Mr. Buntu Majaja, who's the director at the CEO of the South African Innovation Summit. And before Buntu comes in, I must say, without taking the limelight from him, that the GTIC has partnered with South African Innovation Summit for many years now in making sure that we establish a ground fertile for innovators, SMMEs, funders, government, industry association, industry partners to have a conversation and to find one another in this one platform. And we've successfully done that. And I must say that even at the times of COVID, you find that we managed in 2020, when we were at the height of the COVID, we managed to execute together a virtual innovation summit, which we deemed very successful. And there we had started going into Africa and having an international footprint. And in 2021, we had a session that was both virtual and physical. And that's when we also started to then get investments firm on the ground of South Africa for our SMMEs and our innovators. And I must say that within the Department of Trade, Industry and Cooperation and Competition, we're still committed to making sure that we make the ground fertile and enable our innovators. Over to you, Mr. Buntu. Mr. Majaja, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nontombi, and a group. Big good morning to everyone on the panel and in the audience today. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, to be working to build an innovation ecosystem and tech entrepreneurship ecosystem that will support entrepreneurs to become the builders of the country and the solvers of the problems on the continent. And on this note, I want to share my screen so that I really have a task here to do, which is to invite you to be part of that conversation and part of that journey. Once again, appreciate the intro there by the program director. I am Buntu Majaja from the S Innovation Summit, and today I'm speaking to you to tell you about making history happen together. That is still to happen. So let's make history that is still to happen. And my job today is to do three things on the conversation of building a fertile ground for innovation and technology here at the South African Innovation and Technology Pavilion. Firstly, I want to talk about Africa's technology and particularly why it is that Africa, as we touched on this, the cornerstone of what is technology in the sense that we need it on the continent in a way that is practical and useful. And then I want to touch on why is this important for you as the global audience and anyone listening to this conversation. Why should you care? And lastly, to convince you and encourage you to come to the S Innovation Summit and the South African innovation ecosystem to be part of the story. I do think this is a tall order to ask, but please allow me to give it a shot. And if you'll indulge me, I would like to talk about learning mathematics and steel. Please bear with me, although this may be slightly cryptic, but it does form the cornerstone of what is technology and and its applications. Really, fundamentally, we want to talk about inventions that solve problems and inventions that make lives better and build societies. Now, Africa is not often known as a place of technology and innovation, although that's a narrative that is changing, but faster it must change. But if we go back in time, maybe 1,000, 2,000 years ago, we'll see that the invention of universities was first on the continent. Now, if you look at on Google or oldest university, you might find one listed in Italy 200 years later. But really, would we have Harvard today or Oxford if Fatima al-Fihri in 895 post-Common Era in modern day Morocco did not come together to put together to invent a place of learning that is useful for the society? And you might say, is that really technology? Well, if we go back even a little bit more in time, we'll see that the invention of carbon steel by the Haya people happened about 2,000 years ago, 100 CE, in modern day Tanzania. And archaeologists found that this preceded by hundreds of years the advent and creation of carbon steel in Central Europe. And if we go even more back in time, which Mr. Philip Karosa mentioned, that we do have the cradle of humankind in South Africa. And 40,000 years ago was the invention of mathematics, the cradle and bedrock of all inventions that we use today. A language that defines technology and allows us to build was actually invented in modern day Swaziland, close to the cradle of humankind, about 40,000 years ago. And this was women who, archaeologists say that this was women who used this to count the celestial beings, and they were the first mathematicians, in a sense, to understand how the moon rotates around the world. So Africa is no stranger to invention, technology, and innovation. It goes far back as the nature of Africa itself. And this is a story that has gone all around the world, but we believe now it is here, it has come back to Africa to be extended for more chapters, the story of innovation and technology. And we've seen it accelerate in the last decades, especially with the fastest region of mobile usage happening in the world. We would have known about the leapfrog phenomenon, skipping the centers and legacy systems in finance, health, education, and energy in order to redefine how we build societies. And a common, well-known example is, of course, M-Pesa, which is known today by MIT Management Sloan. They say that it is the most successful mobile-based financial service in the world out of Eastern Africa, Kenya, and now expanded across the region, and definitely as well outside of the continent. We know that this revolution that is taking place on the continent is more than a continental story. Because if we look at it from a global perspective, which matters to all of us as generations of the next and the current peoples, that 40% of the world's working population in the whole world will be in Africa by 2035. And that's not far at all. to plan for that, we would already be late if we were starting to redefine our education systems and put together different policies that will take 5, 10, 15 years of planning, because that is little less than 13 years from now. And as rightfully mentioned, if we attribute that population growth and urbanization are an indication of where the future economies will be built and economic prosperity, we know that 35 of the 100 biggest cities in the world in this century, by the end of this century, will be on the continent. And at the same time as urbanization expands, we know that arable land is decreasing. The population is expanding, and it may as well plateau by the end of the century. But it does pose a question about where and how will we feed the global population. 60% of the world's arable land sits on the African continent, and many of the primary products that are required to build societies are also on the African continent. And so for every single one of us as entrepreneurs, investors, participators of the global economy, it is important to recognize that the prosperity of the African continent isn't only a prosperity for the continent, but also for the world. And because we've got raging unemployment, poverty extending beyond the capabilities of the growth rate that is growing, and inequality increasing between societies, these trends mark not only opportunities, but they also mark problems. And these are not problems for Africa only. These are problems for the world, but they're also opportunities for the world. And today, we're here to offer opportunities to partner and invest in the story and become part of the story. And I'm looking forward to the pitches that will be coming soon to share the amazing work, dedication, and innovation on the ground and scaling globally that is solving and building the continent in many different ways. In our story, we do this as an ecosystem platform, the SA Innovation Summit, founded a little bit over 14 years ago by Audrey Farracher, who had envisioned a place where we could, where industry bodies could come together to discuss innovation, put together implementation plans, and elevate what was at the time a very little spoken word within corporate South Africa. Over the years, it's grown from 70 people in a room to 3,500 people attending over 3 days in Cape Town, what we call the Silicon Valley of Africa, as Mr. Philip Karosa mentioned. And very much this was just before the COVID pandemic, but after the COVID pandemic, we went virtual and hybrid and expanded borders as well as access to this platform. Much of the work that has been done in the SA Innovation Summit is to be an originator of the best talent on the continent, a showcaser of amazing innovations that can change the face of the continent and absolutely the world as well. A connector of the resources that will make this all come to life and support through our programs to take these, to close the gaps and take these solutions to their next level. And so over the last couple of years, the SA Innovation Summit has grown to be represented by 58 countries and attendees as attendees. Annually, we see about 44 million impressions and reach via our public relations channels. These are the stories, these are the inspirational discussions that build an entrepreneurial and innovative culture. Because all we do need is about 18, if we follow our trend of the sigmoid curve, the early adopters, the innovators, and the mass majority. You'll know that the innovators that we're working with is about 2 to 3%. And they're the ones that naturally have the culture. And then there's an 18 or so percent that are these early adopters that will, once they are excited about innovation and technology, the rest of the continent will follow suit. And so this is a conversation and a number that we hope to expand globally and certainly on this platform. We want to partner with you to become part of that conversation, because the impact on the ground does mean that $100 million worth of deals have been facilitated at the YES Innovation Summit over the recent years. And this means more opportunities, more resources, and more expansion. Now, I myself and many others on this platform and around the country are from places like these. And as our work expands, and as myself growing up in this place, I found myself in the city in South Africa, realizing that to become part of the solution, I would have to look at entrepreneurship and education and how that can bridge the gaps of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. And so we've done through the YES Innovation Summit this exact type of work where 1 in 4 of attendees at the summit close a monetary return or deal at the summit. 34% of the entrepreneurs that have gone through our programs have raised funding, and 1,000 or so entrepreneurs we touch annually. And you too can be part of this generation, this story. And there's many different roles to play as investors, as ecosystem players, as entrepreneurs, as technology providers, as connectors to global markets. So please do come to the YES Innovation Summit in 2022 and be part of the greatest era in African history, in the making, together and for the world. Thank you very much. We will be sharing more information on how to do this over the next couple of days. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Muntu. That was very awesome in a sense that it showcased exactly what Innovation Summit is about and how far we have come. You have come as an organization. One of the areas that you had not spoke about, but I think it's not pertinent to you and it would be pertinent to us in government, is that we've also used the Innovation Summit as a facilitator and a platform for incentive and policy development and a launch pad for a lot of our incentives. So a number of attendees from the Innovation Summit will know that every year, from an innovation and technology perspective at the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, we will have either a policy review where we are asking them to tell us what else do we need to do. And we're grateful that the South African Innovation Summit has offered through our partnership this exposure, because we are able to then conduct our work and serve the citizen of South Africa through the platform. Thank you very much for that. I don't see any questions for you, and I guess we are expecting a number of our attendees to then come to our session this year. It's going to be exciting, and being global now, you can be anywhere and everywhere. We are starting to look at soft landing programs and making sure that we can even, interconnect and provide that platform that Philip talked about, where Elon Musk had to go to, America to do his work. We are wanting to provide it in South Africa and make sure that we can launch our innovators there. Thank you very much, Buntu. Good luck. Moving forward, we are now going to have our pitches. And I must say that, current news are affecting us every day. We're supposed to have 7 pitches today, but we are only having 5. One of the companies that was supposed to pitch is having activities in Ukraine and is affected by what is going on right now. So only 5 are going to pitch. And the rules are that we're going to give 7 minutes for each pitcher to then do their presentation. And please do lock your questions on the platform that you are in, because we are going to feed them through the our channels into the presenters so that they can answer them in real time. So you are encouraged to then put up your questions as and when they arise. Our first pitcher is going to be Daryl Epstein. Daryl is from Delta Scan, and he's going to be pitching his business to us. Daryl, over to you.
Thanks, Ntombi. Okay, let me just share my screen quickly. Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll dive straight into it. Okay. DeltaScan is a groundbreaking digital engineering and asset management company. We focus on data analytics, and our goal is to reinvent the engineering workflow. And we are disrupting the market across the world. So current inspection technologies, whether it's mining, oil and gas, commercial infrastructure, whatever we look at, the inspections are incredibly complex. They are slow. They are expensive, and there are huge safety concerns. A lot of the information that we get out of the data is guesswork. We've got teams of guys that climb down on structures, essentially on ropes, and they're given a notebook and a camera. And they are told to take as many pictures as they can of the defects. And what you land up with is a file thick, hundreds of pages of isolated individual images that engineers have to try sort through and figure out what is going on. And the entire inspection and asset management workflow is a really, really complex and big mess, essentially. The other issue is that they are viewed as once-off exercises. Every year an inspection is done, the data is so heavy and intensive that it gets lost. And the next time we do an inspection, it's very, very difficult to see how the asset was performing in the previous cycle. What we do is we have reinvented the entire inspection workflow by turning to technology. By turning to drones, software, and artificial intelligence, we are changing the game and we are putting this information on the cloud. We've developed software applications that allows us to scale and to really recreate the way that we visualize and interact with data. I'm a structural engineer, and in my team, we have professionals from the entire built environment. We understand what the pain points are in the industry. We look at the needs of the customers and not nice to haves. We understand how inspections work. We understand how difficult they are, and we understand through the use of technology how we can change that. As I mentioned previously, communication of data is just as critical. Collaborating, talking through the information, how do we host the data and share the data are huge, major elements. The way we do this is we've created an online tool called the Delta Cloud Platform. We've brought asset management into the 21st century, where we centralize all forms of data, engineering models, digital twins, reporting, CAD files, and it completely has changed the way that we integrate and collaborate on information. We started in 2018. I started from an engineering consultancy, and we started developing these tools. In the beginning, it was drones, and then 3D modeling came out. And the technologies that were once very far apart, engineering was normally maths and science, and 3D was designers, has now come together through the use of this kind of tech. We've grown over the last 3 years into really big markets, and we've secured huge projects and huge clients throughout the world. The way that we do this is we decentralize the data capture. We bring in drone teams, we bring in companies from all over the world that have access to really off-the-shelf technologies. They are then able to go and capture assets and capture the infrastructure. Drones used to be seen as something that takes pictures and videos, but they are so much more than that. They are exceptionally powerful tools if you understand how to work with them. The data gets uploaded to us where we process the information and we turn them into smart engineering models that we can measure, that we can visualize, and we can manage throughout the entire asset's life. Why is timing so important? So firstly, COVID was a major change, a major step in the infrastructure market. It's a conservative industry that is very slow to adopt technology. And what COVID did is it forced professionals around the world to rethink, how do we get to site? How do we remotely manage our assets? How do we send as few resources to a site as possible? We embrace new technology. The asset managers of the past grew up with paper. The asset managers of the future have grown up with iPads, and they are looking for new ways to really interact and to optimize the workflows. Since 2018, we have now grown into operating in 7 countries on 3 continents. We've got into mining houses, into petroleum companies, and all over the world, clients are calling us to change the way that they work. So over the past 3 years, which of 200% compound annual growth every single year. And the big thing we point out is this is servicing a 90% of a South African market. We haven't even tapped into the international space. Our plan now is to scale into that arena, and we will easily achieve a 5x to 10x within 2 years. We know that because competitors in the market are doing it. They're doing even more than that. So who do we service? We look at mines, refineries, public infrastructure such as roads and bridges, processing plants to commercial buildings. There are exceptionally big opportunities in the space, and it's a scalable ecosystem. The drone is not the solution. A drone is a tool to collect data. It's a camera that goes in the sky. The magic happens in the data itself. And how do you visualize it? How do you make it usable to the professional space? We service at the moment engineers. We service the professional market predominantly, inspection companies around the world, the asset owners themselves, and insurers. Every major disaster in South Africa, from the fires we've had in Durban to collapses of buildings, we are the first team that is called on site. This is the ultimate disaster response tool where we can send unmanned vehicles in to collect data, and then we're able to analyze it, unpack it, and understand what the data means. It informs our decision-making in the engineering space. So why is this so critical, and why is it such a good time? So at the moment, the market as of last year was a $9 billion market. This is the niche market within drone inspections, not the entire market, specifically inspections. And it's estimated to grow to 33 billion in the next 8 years. So we can get into a $12 billion market at the moment, with realistically getting to $100 million of the market. And our short-term goal is to get to $10 million of that obtainable market quite easily. We have many competitors in the space, but we have some serious advantages. We've built our solutions by engineers, for the asset owners. This has been built from the ground up by rethinking how do we work with data. I've been doing this for 8 years now. DeltaScan launched in 2018, but I've been playing with data and interacting with for 8 years. That means we've made mistakes, we've learned from the mistakes, we've learned what works, and we are miles ahead of anyone else. So the short-term goal is to become a leader in the African landscape, and long-term goal to be a global leader. We currently have myself, I'm the CEO, I'm a professional engineer. Justin is our operations director, who's an architect, and Dale is our biz dev manager. And we have a team of support staff from software engineers to quantity surveyors to software designers and 3D artists that make this all possible. So right now, we're focusing on software. We're focusing on scaling up to be ready for the bigger international space. We're looking at securing larger international contracts. And at the end of the day, we want to become the global leaders in the space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daryl. That's very exciting. Oh, it just excites me in a sense that it's right in the 4IR region where we are driving your business from that end. Just one question from me. I don't see any other questions from the chat. Is how do you see your business evolving? Right now, you talked about software. Are you then going to be moving into hardware where you are using hardware and manufacturing already as a basis, but then you are looking to evolve into that space?
Thank you very much. So hardware isn't on the roadmap. It probably might be there one day in the future, but at the moment, there are fantastic tools from the likes of DJI and many, many other suppliers. One of the benefits of this approach is the hardware is so accessible. No matter where you are in the world, you can get hold of really powerful drones. I mean, we operate throughout Africa, we've operated in Europe, in North America, and everyone has access to the same tools. What people don't have is access to the users. Many, as I mentioned, there's a lot of companies, a lot of individuals that turn to drones and see them as the solution, as taking photos is the answer to everything. The photos and the 3D models and the point clouds you get, that's not the answer. What you extract off of those models, that's really where the magic happens. That's what we focus on. And how do we communicate that data to a professional team?
Thank you for that. Very interesting. And good luck to you and with your journey. And hopefully in a year's time, we'll see you have grown in leaps and bounds. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Daryl. All right, thanks. Moving right along, our second picture is, oh, my apologies, it's not Daryl. It's Sea Monster. Where are you? Glenn. Okay, so this is Glenn Gillis from Sea Monster. He's going to be pitching our business to his business to us. Thank you. Over to you, Daryl.
Thanks, Ntombi. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to do the thing and grab the screen. I'm just going to do this. And away we go. Let me just do one more thing and switch off my camera. Cool. So, hi everybody. My name is Glenn Gillis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sea Monster. We are going to be part of a new narrative. We're going to be part of a new story that Africans are telling themselves and the story that we're taking to the world. We use our skills in animation because these cut across cultures, literacy levels, and bite-sized visual communication surely is the order of the day. But of course, it's no good that we just create a new narrative. We have to give people a sense that through their own actions, they can shape the world around them. And so we do what's called serious games. That doesn't mean that they're not fun. It means that they've got a purpose other than pure entertainment. So this is learning, social goals, business goals, or marketing goals. So since 2011, we built up one of the best teams in the continent and hopefully in our niche in the world, where we use animation to tell the stories and games to give people a sense of agency so that we can inspire people to behave, to change their behavior at scale, because the challenges and opportunities, as we've seen from the previous speakers on the continent, are significant. So we've been listening very, very carefully. We work across the retail, health, and financial services sector. We've listened very carefully to what companies are looking for, and we've looked at how we can serve those at a global scale and how we can grow our business and theirs exponentially. So in addition to the hundreds of minutes of education that we've provided through animation and the many, many games that we've built, as well as all the augmented and virtual reality, which is of course on everyone's tongue, we're very excited to have finally been able to invest in our own platform. And that's the platform we're going to chat to you today. It's called Lighthouse. It's going to change the world. It's going to change your world. And we're looking for partners to join us on that journey. So having worked across the continent in Europe and America, of course, we're looking for partners everywhere. We know that people are really struggling to stand out, to cut through the noise, to find a way to engage with customers. It comes on every single brief that we receive, every time we're sitting down with the customers from the C-suite all the way through to people on the ground who've got to implement. How do I engage? And what does that engagement actually mean? Of course, data is everything. We know that we're giving away a lot of our data to other third parties, but what we really need to do is get people to volunteer to give us their data so that we can better serve them. This is the essence of the GDPR and papaya legislation and others around the world. But really, it speaks to a much higher purpose, that brands really should find ways to share value directly back with their customers, use that information for them, not against them. And of course, none of this matters if we're unable to translate this into sales and other activities, whether that's in the digital or online space. So there are lots of alternatives out there if you're in the marketing funnel and you're trying to shout loudly. At Sea Monster, we're much more considered. We want to get people into that quieter space where we're actually able to really engage with them, share our knowledge, where it's the educational content that's trapped in our businesses. How do we provide that and give that back to customers in a way that is bite-sized, visual, so that we can earn their trust, which of course will generate demand. So delighted to reveal today Lighthouse. It's a web-based, white label, gamified platform for brands. Think about it as a treasure hunt engine. You can do things in the real world, you can do them in the digital world, and you can be rewarded for those things. And it cuts across brands. You can use it for quick campaigns, or you can use it as an always-on channel. So the way that it works is really, really simple. It works alongside all of your traditional marketing activities. We're going to grab you. We're going to reward you for your time. That's really special because most brands only really reward you when you purchase. Of course, that's important, but we're in the attention economy, and therefore we need to reward people as well when they give us their time. Then you can choose how you want to reward yourself in the spend. And of course, data is everything as we make real strategic, data-driven, creative decisions. So yeah, massively scalable, built on AWS, multiple language enabled. It will help start to determine which of your marketing channels are working, which ones are not. So we can grab you in-store, online. And because it's browser-based, it's massively scalable. And this is the benefit of working with companies from South Africa and Africa, is that we're thinking about how to make these things data light. We're very responsive to visual cultures, how those are represented in the world. And because we can solve that problem in Africa, we can solve that around the world. The way that you earn rewards is by watching, engaging with a brand, doing quizzes, doing surveys. So a really powerful way to get real-time information from your customers. And of course, our secret sauce is in the mini games. Having built probably more than most on the continent, we're able to find ways to really incentivize people to come back and use various games to inspire that. And then we're very excited that you've got geo-checking functionality, which means you can check into stores or other places. So think Pokemon Go on steroids linked to your brand. And we've got other ways to link it to digital activity as well. And then on the reward side, airtime and data is very important in Africa as it is in many other emerging markets, but we can reward people with digital components. Did anyone mention NFTs? No, not me. And then of course, competitions, vouchers, and everything else. It means that in one place, we're able to grab the customer, lower the cost of acquisition, deepen that engagement, share your brand story, earn their trust, and then measure how that is translating into sales. We think it's a world first. We're very excited about this space, and we're looking forward to finding companies in the Middle East, in Europe, and elsewhere. For ad agencies, this is that elusive source of annuity income. Partner with us. There's upsell opportunities for you to sell creative services. We're in market. We can have live in a matter of days. We can have campaigns up. We're running 20, 30 campaigns concurrently at the moment. We're looking to run hundreds at a time, and we want you to be very successful in the eyes of your customers. We're also looking for partners and resellers who want to come on board and take over entire regions, entire markets, entire niches, because there are lots of opportunities to build bespoke solutions on top of the Lighthouse platform. And of course, for our customers, we're delighted that we're able to offer cost-effective total solutions that cut across cultures, that solve for challenges in the developing world, and will also deliver massive value in the developed economy. I'm Glenn Gillis. We're a team of 50 animators, engineers. We're passionate about our role in Africa and how we're going to change the way that brands are engaging with their customers around the world. Join us, and delighted to explore opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Glenn. That was very inspiring. And I must say, I like your tagline where you are saying, we engage audiences at scale to inspire behavior change aligned to your brand purpose, using power and animation games and immersive technologies. I like that because you're just showcasing the talent in South Africa. And the case in point here, you know, when you started your presentation, I was reminded of the movie that's very popular these days, The Tinder Swindler. One of the ladies was saying she was inspired by the Beauty and the Beast story, where I didn't think animation worked with adults, but apparently you are on the ball. It shows animation is not just for kids. It's all of us. We can relate. It makes something very tangible, very apt and up on our faces, and easy to access as information. Very well done there. In terms of your growth strategy, what do you see yourself in terms of growing and having a global footprint? What is your view about that?
Absolutely. And thank you. Just before I answer that question, to say that, you know, stories are how we make sense of the world. And people don't change their mind because you give them more information. They change their mind because of a very powerful psychological relationship with archetype. Every scientist and behavioral economist will tell us exactly that. And so how do you deliver that at scale? And absolutely, you know, people say games are expensive. I say yes, except compared to all your alternatives. Because if you really want to deepen that engagement, how are you going to do it at scale? In terms of your question, South Africa has got a massive advantage, and that is that we are very respectful of people's cultures. We have a lot of diversity in language and culture, in storytelling and music, in the creative industries more generally. And so we're inspired not only about what we see in South Africa, but what we see around the African continent. And people are going to resonate with that authenticity. So our goal is to build a big laboratory and a big factory in South Africa to scale that using the power of technology. And Lighthouse is the first product that we're building to do exactly that, where we can show that we can compete and deliver results around the world. So the idea is keep the laboratory and the factory in South Africa, own that IP, that we're not just a low-cost destination. We can offer great production value, and we can also solve some of these challenges. And what we're looking for is to set up sales offices in the Middle East, in America, and in Europe. And that's exactly why we're here today, to find those partners who want to join us on that journey and be part of this global success. So yeah, Mtombi, wave your magic wand and make this happen for us, please.
Great. No, we are right there on your tail supporting you. There's one question, and I think it's aligned to what I've asked. It says, can you expand on resellers you are looking for? Are there specific companies that you think would be the ideal partner?
Thank you. That's a great question. Not really. You know, sometimes one passionate person who has got good contacts, understands the marketing space and the digital economy really well, can join us. And sometimes it can be a large consulting practice that's looking to put into in the real world some of their insights. So yeah, it can be anything from an ad agency, it can be an individual. At this stage, the good news is we're open to hear everybody's stories and see how we align philosophically about how we create value for each other. So yeah, we don't have a specific mandate other than the right people with the right belief system around what's possible in the world together.
Perfect. I like that. I like teams. You create, you draw people based on your like-mindedness. Thank you for that, and good luck to you, Glenn. It was very inspiring, and really, again, I'm saying South Africa is there. We are in the midst of this fourth industrial revolution. It's no longer a talk for us. We are doing it, and you are one of those. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the Innovation Summit and everybody. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. All right, moving right along. Our next presenter is Mr. Talifani Mamafa from Analytics Advertising. And I must say, I like his tagline as well, is Data Valley of Africa. So we are really in the Internet of Things and data analytics. So over to you, Mr. Talifani.
You're muted.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear. We can hear you. Thanks.
Yeah. I've been listening to the previous speakers. Powerful, from Ubuntu to the pitches. Amazing. Thank you for having me. I'm from Analytics Advertising. We are a data tech company emerging very fast in Africa, and we call ourselves Africa's Data Valley because of the models and solutions we are building in Africa. I'm actually reporting live from Dubai because we're here to create and build relationships and see how we can expand our company outside Africa. Let me just move to the next slide. The problem we are seeing mostly, in most cases, the fact that a lot of companies in the global level, especially the ones that are really managing a lot of people and running like the upsets, the retailers, the manufacturing companies, they are struggling probably with the legacy systems. And this makes their company move very slow in the business. And because of that, the data collection processes is slow. And our role is to come in and build solutions. They lack with data insights because the legacy systems they are using in the companies, they are just built to collect information, not to really build the pipelines, the ETL pipelines. What I mean is, you can think of any legacy system like a SAP or something. That system is built to collect and manage the data movements, but it's not built to understand the interaction of the data and how the data flow, so you can understand market sensitivity, product sensitivity, customer segmentation. You have to extract data and analyze it elsewhere. But as I move forward, I'll explain to you what we are doing. There's also a big challenge in Africa of unemployment. We've got professionals who are qualified from top universities. Why are they not getting jobs? It's not that they don't know the work. It's because there isn't platforms for them to operate and companies that are not emerging to feed in the top level and afford them. And we saw this as a big problem in Africa, and we wanted to be part of it. So we positioned ourselves as a data technology company. And part of the key solutions that we wanted to provide was to create systems or build or help support the legacy systems or substitute them. And the idea is to help companies understand what they are doing in production, what they are doing in point of sale, and what their consumers are doing in the business. What I mean is you can get to understand your consumer behavior, you get to understand their market basket. When a customer comes to our business, what are they buying? Because of that, you get to understand what else to sell them. And this is what we mainly build it. And when we talk about lack of data, we are trying to build systems for corporations, large corporations, and helping them have data systems that allows them to understand within the business Also in production, they don't have to just keep producing any product. Now they produce it with understanding that this product sells or is moving in a certain time. And because we are emerging in the medium enterprise, we are hiring professionals from top universities. And this gives us opportunity to provide quality service in the market. These are some of our services. Let me just move this. Our key services, these are the top ones: strategy and consulting. We are a consulting company. We do a lot of strategy, software development, data science, and market research. In strategy, mainly, is to understand where the company is positioned and where it's trying to go in the digital economy. How are they positioned? Is their infrastructure of technology within the organization that strong? Are they ready for what the economy is moving to and the opportunities that are happening? Are they able to analyze the behavior within product in their company? Are they able to understand consumer behavior? And from that, we develop systems that allows them to manage data or work from that. Or what I can simply say is, as a large corporation like a PPC, you want to understand how is your consumers or the B2B market moving in your business. And you want to understand how much we're giving out on rebates. You probably want to understand how much of discounts are we giving away and how is this building or benefiting our company. In the B2C market, you want to understand who is buying our cement. What are they buying it for? Are they buying it for building? Is it for construction? Is it for what is it for? And as you understand that market and why they're buying, you can maximize on your production. So we build software developments for large corporations, mainly to help them understand the pipelines through people interacting on the system. And from that, we get to understand their segmentation of customers and segmentation of products and how customers are making purchases in the business. And we build dashboards, ETLs, for them to make it seamless for them to have one view of what the business is doing and how far it's going. And this is the most important part for all large corporations at the moment. They are not having enough insights. Although they have data, they don't have enough insights. So our business model is basically build solutions, and then we help companies save 20% of whatever they're doing on average, or even more. And then we help them understand basically how the business is performing. And then the return of the company, probably they can make 25% of returns because of they're going to save on what they are producing and how they are giving out to the consumers. And we're probably going to make 2% of that. And where we are right now, in the 18 months, we plan to, let me start here on the 10 years goal. Our 10 years goal is to penetrate the market of 200 billion market. And we, in the global state, and in 5 years, we're seeing it as a 2 billion market of data tech and consulting. And 18 months is 150, and we want to have 52. We want to grow 2% of that, which is a good number. And already we're doing well in the ecosystem. Currently, we won 4 awards in the medium enterprise, technology, innovation, and Ministers Award and people management. That was for business. And for personal, I was part of the Accenture Rising Stars top 5 entrepreneurs, and we partnered with Da Vinci and DTI for growing SAs and Africa's economy. I'm also part of the Africa Shared Value platform, and we do interact with audience and customers in the LinkedIn platform. We have over 100,000 traction monthly, and our website or people who engage with us is more than 5,000 on a month-to-month basis. We do work with some clients: Saint-Gobain, Adapter-T, PPC, BCX, TransUnion. These are large global corporations. And basically our investment opportunity that we're looking for is in the top level, we want to basically raise 2 million and invest more on 30% on sales, 40% on AI, and 30% on working capital. This is some of our team. We are growing. We have fully employed 24 professionals with 6 external consultants. And we if needs be, we outsource resources. So 24 professionals in the business, and we have 6 consultants from human resource, accounting, and law, which makes us very profitable and grow very fast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Talifani. This was very inspiring as well. And congratulations on those awards as well. And the TT100 was quite exciting for your company. And I think I can see you growing in leaps and bounds. There's, you know, as you were doing your presentations, I just put down 4 points that I just want you to take us through them in no particular order. The first one is around complexity of data analysis and management of that. And I was thinking about that in line with the high performance computing resources that have been placed in our universities. If there will be a link there or not, then you let me know. And then also the skill set. I've seen you just explain now your team, and you can see how diverse it is, but how then do we inculcate those kinds of skills and create these new jobs? And the last one, which maybe I think it's a comment, I can see how your company is also driving into creation of new markets. So you can either, you know, say I'm correct or wrong, I don't know, just substantiate that. But I had those 4 for you. Thanks, Ted.
Thank you so much. I would say the first one, complexity of data science. It is complex, not easy, but the business model have to be so easy for them to understand why they're working with us. So what we try to do is we consult first and sit with them and understand their challenges. From that, you get to understand where's the biggest problem. Let me give you an example with one client we're working with currently, PPC Cement, top 1 cement company in Africa. And all the systems that they're starting to use that are new tech, they're developed by us. So how are we letting them know that they have a challenge in the consumer space, or understanding their consumer? Is because you talk to them and they're telling you, we don't understand how to talk to our consumers. We don't know who's our end user. We don't know this. And so when we build a solution, we're building them knowing that this is going to solve this problem. So for them, it's easy to understand in a higher level. But to do it, it needs professionals and university guys. We do have, in the software development, we have guys who are self-taught and who taught themselves, because software development can be self-taught. But it is complex. It requires some mathematics. And skill set, I think South Africa or Africa across is blessed with skills. We've got skills. Universities are providing the best skills. The only challenge I can say is people maybe after universities, they don't equip themselves, they don't continue learning, or they're waiting for a platform to move forward. And I think that's a problem. And also the knowledge that I've learned at University of Pretoria to end of 2012 is not relevant now in statistics. The guys that are working in the company, they're using Python, they're using programming, they're using SQL languages. These models were not as big in my university time. So even when you have that degree, continue learning, continue advancing. So I would say skill set is there. We just need to continue competing in the top level. And then the creation of the new market. What is happening is digital economy, since COVID happened, forced corporations to go digital. So if it's forcing them to go digital, it means that in a basic way, I can say people are working from home. So if they're working from home, how do you track that in the human capital? There's movement, people are really working. How do you track the performance on that? You can build a system that manages human resource, that manages finance, manages consumers, manages production, and all of that can be integrated and understand in a holistic view, or how's the business performing, because people now can really work for 2 hours and you won't know. But how do you make it seamless? You basically have to build a CRM, online CRM, that allows you to track the data performance. That's the new market. It's been open. And another market is, let's say, companies for a long time, they've been thinking that consumers are looking for this. How about you build a system that consumers tells you what they are looking for? From that and their interaction, you get to understand what to give them, because the digital world allows you to interact with your consumers. Consumers define what they are looking for, not us defining for them. That's the new market, and we are growing.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I understand it much better now. And unfortunately, there are no other questions for you from the audience. And I just want to wish you good luck, and hopefully all the engagements you do in Dubai yield fruit for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Our next presenter is going to be Orion Lee Herman of Liquid Gold Africa. Their slogan or their tagline is recycling and repurposing human urine. So they are in the recycling business. Over to you, Orion.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ndomi. And what an inspiring and diverse bunch of entrepreneurs. It's good to know that we're part of this movement. Just to share my screen. Great. So my name is Orion Herman. I'm the CEO and the founder of a company called Liquid Gold. And as you mentioned, we do focus on a very unique toilet resource, which is urine. We're able to convert this precious resource into something that's very highly beneficial for food security and for growth. But before I go into it, let me just take you down a journey into Liquid Gold, what we're all about, and how we're able to add value to the sanitation economy. But did you know that every time you urinate or go to the bathroom to do number one, you actually release enough fertilizer potential to grow one loaf of bread? Now, from an agriculture perspective, that's a lot of valuable nutrients that is wasted. We've managed to capture this resource and convert it into something very special. Let's take a closer look at the challenges or the opportunity. Specifically within South Africa, you've got over 6 million people that still don't have access to proper water infrastructure or water supply or consistent water supply. Further to that, we live in a world of such advanced technology, but yet 11 million people still don't have access to proper, safe sanitation. And on the other spectrum of this, our food security is at risk. But due to urban growth and urban population, this is putting demands on our agriculture outputs and increasing the demand by up to 30 to 50% on our current supply. And on the other end, the downstream, because of the way we consume and the way we manage our waste, it all ends up on one wastewater treatment plant or one centralized system that causes downstream impacts by eutrophication, coral bleaching, as because of the way that we manage it and we do it. So with Liquid Gold, we'll look at 3 key elements of the sanitation economy. It's the toilet economy by providing safe, waterless sanitation technology. We're able to add to the narrative of providing hygienic solutions to take care of access to basic sanitation. But everyone's talking about circular economy, smart economy. The way we're able to add circular economy or add to the narrative of circular economy is by doing source separation or beginning of pipe versus end of pipe. So we're able then to divert this precious resource, specifically urine, at the beginning of pipe through our innovation, and we're able to recover valuable nutrients made up of NPK. But further to this, because we're able to collect the toilet resources upfront, therefore we can manage data, therefore giving us important information, for example, any outbreak of disease that does happen upfront versus at the end or at the end of pipe versus at a centralized point. And that's what makes us so unique and different. So how we're able to approach this or the technology that we use in order to deploy this? We have EcoFlow, which is a waterless urinal, converts any existing urinal into waterless, saving about up to 120,000 liters of fresh drinking water per year. And welcome to Africa's first urinal for both males and females. And this technology was based on purely how women interact or engage with technology in a public area where they're taught from a very early age never to sit or touch the technology. So we took that same behavior and just changed the design. So we got about over 7,500 active female users on the technology with a 95% acceptance rate. We also have what we call a Sanipod, which is a complete off-grid sanitation technology that does not need to be linked to any water infrastructure or any sewage system, that allows source separation of both fecal matter as well as urine for allowing an easier back-end support. But our latest technology and our latest creation is a diamond reactor. This system is a completely off-grid nutrient and water recovery system. For every 98 liters of urine this system treats, we get 1 kilogram of a safe biological fertilizer, which has now been certified and tested and backed by 8 to 15 years worth of research. But what makes us so unique is that this technology can fit within a building, it can fit within a school, it can be a decentralized system. But the beautiful thing that it is automated, so therefore you'll get the consistent results required to feed into a supply chain. So what does the process look like? You must be wondering. So we're able to collect urine from the beginning of time, whether it's in schools, communities, public buildings, corporate buildings that are going for green status buildings. We're able to either process it at site or bring it to a nutrient recovery facility. We'll be able to harness the nutrients, which is high in phosphorus and high in ammonia and magnesium. Then we're able to sell the byproducts into the agriculture space. And then the process starts again, where consumer then eats, and then the whole process starts again. So keeping waste off our wastewater treatment plants and recovering the valuable nutrients. And because urine is 96% water, not only are we able to recover the fertilizer, but we also are able to recover a safe, non-potable water that can feed into a closed loop system, or alternatively into the agro space that are in search of alternative sources of water. If you look at the market in terms of the global sanitation, it's $280 billion per year to meet the needs of global sanitation. 2.4 billion people on our planet still don't have access to basic and healthy sanitation. But within the South African context, both on the public and private sector, we will need to spend 22 billion rand a year just to meet up with the demands of safe sanitation and with the backlogs. You got different companies looking at different sort of water reuse technology in the agro-processing, because we live in a water scarce country, and looking for alternative sources of water becomes key. But if we look at our fertilizer industry as well, we import over 15 billion rand worth of with our fertilizer, and most of it comes from the Middle East. So we're able now to increase or add value into the supply chain by locally creating fertilizers that feed into the agriculture supply chain. So what makes us different compared to the rest of our market? Not only do we have upfront technology, which is safe, hygienic, and reduces water, but we're also able to add value to the circular economy and been able to have smart data. So therefore, we're able to tell if there's an outbreak of disease, of COVID or Ebola, or whatever the case may be upfront, allowing for preventative measures to take place versus back end. So our traction in the market, as mentioned, we've got over 5,000 waterless urinals in the market, and 7,500 females actively using our female urinal. We have secured over 8 to 12 million liters of urine so far, and we've got offtake agreements on our fertilizer. So how do we make money as a business? I'm sure you must be wondering. So it's through the sale of upfront technology, which is linked to service level agreements. In the future, we anticipate higher returns of investment coming in from the byproducts we produce, both water as well as fertilizer. Our goal is to create Africa's first industrial scale nutrient and water recovery system, where we're then able to unlock the future revenue streams going forward. Our growth strategy, as mentioned, is to create Africa's first urine depot or industrial scale nutrient and water recovery system. Our 4 main areas of focus is the mining sector, looking at the rehabilitation of water, property companies that want to go green status or want to increase their green status, that looking at for source separation and nutrient recovery, public spaces that require intervention on reuse as well as circular economy, and then fertilizer companies that are looking for sustainable feedstock of a highly valuable fertilizer. So to date, the company has grown 1,800% in terms of revenue. Yes, we had a bit of a slow year last year due to unforeseen circumstances, but we made significant developments within our product development, as well as getting certified and filling up our pipeline. So currently at the moment, we've got a pipeline with about 100 million, looking at different partnership and strategies to deploy our technology. And we're looking at creating, as mentioned, creating Africa's first urine depot. So with regards to the team, it's myself, Arjen Herman, as well as Noel Bastian, a very diverse and complex team of engineers, agriculturists, agrologists, senior sort of chemical engineers as well. We've grown from 2 individuals all the way to 22 people within our team, and locally produced, locally owned business. So our traction in the market, our next 2-year plan, yes, is to secure the funding for the depot that we do require, because we both have feedstock as well as offtake agreements. Further to that, to increase our sales and marketing team, as well as start servicing 100% of our offtake agreements. We're also looking at creating a cross-border strategy by deploying our technology within the Indian market, as well as the East African market, that are in high demand of water and sanitation intervention. We are raising capital of $2.5 million, and that is for the access and the capital for the Urine Depot, as well as talent, working capital, and further product development. We also have secured 50% of this through local instrument, which is quite good. Our impact is to have sustainable revenue stream from our depot, as well as create further jobs. But we also want to be able to divert over 96 million liters of urine off our wastewater treatment plants and producing over 1,000 tons of fertilizer per annum. Again, my name is Orion Herman. I'm the CEO and founder of Liquid Gold, and we believe that one man's waste becomes another man's gold. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Orion. I think in my entire life, I thought I understood circular economy and greening and green technologies, but you've really schooled me today, which is quite inspiring, and thank you for that. Just two questions from my side. Yes. In terms of your business strategy, I see that one of the things you want to do is to set up a depot, like sort of a factory plant, yes, where you'll be sort of manufacturing the fertilizer. But yes, are you then also looking into selling the whole process as a product? I'm now thinking of places where maybe in a rural area where you set it up such that the collection point and the user is in one space and sell it as a solution.
That's a great question, Tommy. So yes, we do have two different business models: is the centralized depot, as well as being able to sell the complete solution into different industries or areas. So yes, for areas that we cannot, it's impossible to bulk around liquid, we'll rather have the technology on site, producing on site, which then in turn unlocks the value chain in that local economy by creating jobs, feeding into local farmers, and providing safe sanitation at the same time. So absolutely.
Okay, great.
So with our depot, we'll be both processing as well as fabricating and manufacturing our products that will meet the two different business models.
Perfect. And then now, in terms of skill set and infrastructure orientation, seeing that, I mean, urine is a biological, I think, is it termed like that? It's a, it has bacteria and things like that. I might not be saying it correctly. How then are you managing that entire setup of the business?
So yeah, what was important is because it is a biological process because of the chemical composition. So what is important was making sure that the byproducts are certified by the Department of Agriculture and different standards, so that we are able to safely supply the fertilizer into different supply chains. So our skill set around the team is chemical engineers, sound engineering, health and safety protocols must be in effect. We ensure that the waste is kept behind pipe, that we meet our EOAs in terms of impact and so forth. So that's a critical point of ensuring that you've got the right skill sets to meet the right demands and making sure that it is consistent. Because I mean, if it's going into the different supply chains where it's consumables, you got to make sure that you are meeting your standards associated to it.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. I must say, for me, it was re-education of Nontombi with this one. It's quite an exciting business to see and look at, and good luck with your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ntombi, and thank you so much for the SA Innovation team. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, I will request you to stop sharing now. Our next pitch and the last one, this is the last one, is going to be Donald Baloy, the CEO of Zulzi.com. And their tagline is building the best way for people everywhere in the world to shop for groceries. This is an e-commerce business solution. Yeah, let's hear from them. What are they offering and what are they looking for? Over to you, Donald.
Thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. I'm actually trying to share my screen, and I'm unable to do that on Zoom. It says my thing has been disabled. Anyone can help me to share it?
Just give us a sec.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
We can see your screen. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Can you guys see my screen now? Thank you so much. Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Donald Valoyi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zuzi. Zuzi is a quick commerce delivery platform where we are able to bring everything from groceries, alcohol, pharmaceuticals to your door within 15 minutes. How we do it is we are able to source these products from what we call dark stores. Dark stores is just like a store where nobody's allowed to go in except for these stores are just mainly for online only, right? The concept itself, as I said, it's a 15 minutes from the dark store. How we do it, we work with suppliers directly, the FMCGs. So those FMCGs, what we're able to do is we're able to procure those products and put them in the dark store. We also work with local guys, local suppliers. So if anyone's got a shop or anyone's selling products, we're able to sort of take those products and put them in our dark stores. In terms of our operating hours, we're able to obviously operate long operating hours from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. In terms of the platform, how it works is you download the app, the platform as a customer. What you're able to select that is about over 2,500 products that are carefully created for customers. These are our top selling products that we use a lot of data that we collected over the years, because before our platform evolved to become a dark store platform, we used to run like an aggregator platform where we could sell products from different retailers. Once a product is picked, obviously what happens then, the behind the scenes, there's a picker who goes to a dark store, pick those items within 2 minutes, and then hand over to a courier who will then deliver to you. In terms of the market in South Africa that we're dealing with, we're dealing with a market of over 1 trillion rand. These are total sales in retail every year. Of that market, last year, I think 2021, actually, we peaked at like almost 5% of sales were online, which represent about 42 billion rand. There's still a long way to go for South Africa, because I mean, if you look at the matured market like the US, the UK, they are sitting at almost 19% of the sales happening online. So that just represents how big the opportunity for South Africa is. When it comes to the global landscape, some of the players that are actually playing in the similar space as ours, you have players like GoPar from the US, who have just raised over R1 billion, backed by investors such as SoftBank, Vision Fund. They have done almost 5 million plus orders, everything delivered in 10 minutes. You've got Getia as well. We will also raised over R1 billion, also processing over 2 million orders. Gorillas as well in the UK, and Flink as well, doing phenomenal well in terms of these quick commerce players. How do we do it? Obviously, with the target, where we are targeting is we are targeting to be very competitive in the convenient delivery space. If you look in South Africa, for instance, there's a lot of convenience stores or shopping malls, but we have seen a pattern where people are moving away actually from shopping malls to convenience stores. And the same thing, what we are doing as Zuzi here is we are looking to disrupt the traditional convenience stores, because what you're able to do is you're able to get your groceries much quicker. So you have to think twice about you going to the store or just waiting to get them. So with Zuzi, you are actually able to get your groceries within 15 minutes. What that means, it means you are able to buy things like drinks, bakery snacks, prepared meals, things that you don't have to think about, right? But when you look at the traditional way of shopping, people will then go and have larger basket size. You have to plan for it, and the time it takes for the items to be delivered is quite long as well. In terms of competition, if you look at like the players that are playing in our space here locally, within the quick commerce space, I think we are the first guys to really like take this industry and turn it around. The retailers themselves as well obviously play in the space. In the retail space, you've got players such as Pick n Pay, SAP, Checker 6060, Woolies Dash. So one of the maybe biggest success story in the retail space in South Africa has been Checker 6060, which has been powered by Zuzi. So we developed the platform for Checker 6060. That's why they've been able to demonstrate the tech capabilities. So the tech capabilities actually came from Zuzi. So as I've said before, like Zuzi is a pioneer in the space in the sense that we're always looking at working on the next big thing. And in this case, it's quick commerce. We have other competitors that have came in, Elif Express from Pakistan. They actually deliver within 30 minutes. The difference between them and us is just we're playing in the same space. We do 15 minutes, they do 30 minutes. The biggest advantage we have is obviously we've got a wider selection from the FMCGs. We're built very good relationships with the FMCG. So that allows us to have a better catalog. In terms of the business model itself, in terms of our average basket size, you're looking at like almost 271 rand average size. And then we charge a delivery fee of 35 rand. If you look at the net revenue for that, it's 206, and then cost of goods of sales, that's 197. If you look at our operating profit, which is quite important, you'll see that we're sitting at 57.39, which is almost 18.75%. In terms of what we want to do, we want to obviously roll out in the next 18 months. Our target is to get to 4.2 million rand for each dark store every month. Sorry, I'm just moving too quickly. In terms of the growth opportunities that are out there, as Zuzi, we've demonstrated that we are very good with tech as well. So we're looking to also build a software as a service inventory management system for dark stores. This system, we are looking to sort of like take it outside, not just in South Africa only, but international, because a lot of quick commerce players, they don't have inventory management systems that allows them to do very complex things, like for instance, real-time integration with your application, where customers are actually able to select what's available. Ability to deliver prescription drugs to customers from a dark store, that's one thing that we're working on now, in terms of like customers being able to send a script via the platform and you get it delivered via the dark store. We're also looking to sort of like expand our private label products and look at the prepared meal space, where you can, instead of getting groceries only, you can also get your prepared meals. And we're also looking to roll out the solution to the SADC region. In terms of the company snapshot, we are in Johannesburg. We've got more than 100 independent drivers and pickers. We have over 100 people who are working in the head office. In terms of key figures, since we started, we have processed over 700,000 orders since we started, which is 150% year on year. We have done over 400 million rand processed via the application since inception. We have over 150 users registered on the platform, and we have now rolled out 5 dark stores in Johannesburg, and we're looking to obviously raise funds to get to 100 dark stores within this year. In terms of the founders, I myself am the co-founder. Donald Baloyi. I've studied BSc in Applied Medicine at Wits University. I've got over 15 years of experience in software development. My co-founder is Michael Nchipisi, who's got BSc in Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, first class from ECT. And this is what makes Zuzi to be the guys that you don't wanna miss the boat in terms of backing us. So we're looking to raise funds to expand our dark stores, to really like change how retail is done in South Africa, to really bring true convenience to our customers within 15 minutes. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Donald. That was very inspiring as well. You know, I had a few questions that your last slides did answer to, but maybe for clarity, let me just pose this question to you. So you are a tech development company. You are using external agencies or parties for your deliveries. So they have to register with you, but they're not part of your company. Can you, yes. Because I was looking at, so when you are in the business that you are in, for me, there are 3 stages. One is the app itself. And then secondly, it's where you source the goods. And thirdly, is how you transport the goods. So which is the core of your business out of the 3?
Yeah, so maybe let me explain a little bit about the model itself. So how it works is we operate a network of dark stores. So these dark stores, just you can look at it as a retail store, but the difference is no one can go in. It's purely just for online. And then what we have is we work directly with the FMCG. So the FMCGs bring their items to our dark stores. We store those products ranging from fresh produce to everything. So we've got fridges, everything in the dark stores. And then in the dark store, what we have then, we've got pickers. These are the guys who go and pick your groceries. When you place an order, the guys are able to pick your groceries in the dark store. The biggest difference between us and retailers is if you pick from a retailer, which we used to do before, right? Before we change our model. When you pick from a retail store, it will take you almost like 40 minutes to pick a basket size of like 650 rands with over 20 items. In our model, that takes about 2 minutes to pick the same quantities, you know. So that's the big difference in terms of like, number one, the speed, in terms of how quick you can pick the items. And then obviously that also has to deal with the cost as well. And then after the items have been picked, what we have is we've got contractors, independent contractors, and some of the guys are permanent guys who will then deliver those items to customers within 15 minutes. So in terms of what we have done is we've built the entire value system in terms of the systems from the customer facing app to the picking app to how we manage the inventory system that comes into our dark stores. So all of that we have built that ourselves, right? So what we have done is when it comes to maybe other third parties, what we've done with Checkers, for instance, on the Checkers side, what we did is we built the front app that you see that you download, that's done by Zuzi, and then the picking as well that happens behind the scenes. That platform is built by Zuzi, and then we also built the whole system works in terms of like the dashboard to manage the orders, the logic to sort of like dispatch orders. So I think our key competence as Zuzi is definitely tech. You know, I think nowadays what things have changed in such a way that logistics, for instance, now is tech. You know, inventory management is tech. So if you're able to build better tech, you could actually end up playing in the entire value system.
Right. And then your growth strategy, talk to us about that a bit, because I see it's geographically oriented in terms of how do you source those dark stores and those pickers, especially if you are not doing any warehousing.
Yeah, so the plan is to expand to, so currently we've got about 5 dark stores. So as you can imagine, I mean, the plan is to roll out about 100 dark stores, because each dark store should then have a radius of up to 5 kilometers in order for us to be able to meet the 15 minutes delivery promise that we promised to our customers. So one of the key things that we'll be doing this year is obviously to roll out the more dark stores in Johannesburg and look at Cape Town and Durban as well. So majority of the dark stores, about 60% of those dark stores will be here in Johannesburg, simply because the rest of 60% of sales actually happen here as well for online in Johannesburg. So that's our plan in terms of the growth, the space that we want to get into. And then also on the platform perspective as well, we want to, we work very close with FMCGs. So what FMCGs are also able to do now on our platform is we're able to buy keywords. So this is similar to like Google Ads, where you can actually buy a keyword on Google to promote like your product or something online, right? As you can see, like if people go on Google and you search for banana, people buy for those keywords, right? We're able to do that as well on our platform, where advertisers such as FMCGs can actually buy keywords on our platform. So as Coke, for instance, you want to make sure that no one actually uses your keyword. So you need to bid for that on using the Zuzi platform. So we're able to do that in terms of offering an advertising space to FMCGs. We're also able to sort of like offer them the way to quickly get to the market. If they've got a product that they want to introduce to the market, they're able to do sampling using our platform. So we can actually give samples, and they can be targeted as well. If the FMCG says, I want to target people who are ordering this kind of product, we're able to do that as well. So those are some of the key areas that we are focusing on now. As I mentioned as well, pharmaceutical space as well is one area that we are looking to get to as well, in terms of like being able to do prescription drugs using the platform. So what can happen is at home, once you come from a doctor, you can take a screenshot of the medical certificate and send it through to us, and then we can then send the drugs. And then behind the scenes is a pharmacist who can then also deliver the video on demand as well, in terms of like the use of how you must use those drugs. So that's the space that Zuzi is playing in, as I've mentioned. So yeah, so that's where we are.
Okay, thank you so much. That is much clearer. And I don't have any other questions from the platform for you, but I will encourage our participants to go into the virtual space and further look at the businesses that have pitched. And we wish you good luck, Donald, with all your endeavors and exposure in Dubai at the Expo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and good luck to everybody, fellow panelists as well. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe how fast that 2 hours have just gone by. I guess when we're doing work and we're having fun, this is what happens. We have come to the closing of our session for today. I'm going to invite Mr. Buntu Majaja to do the closing remarks for us, and I'll ask Buntu as well to sort of guide and navigate our participants where to find the virtual exhibitions, and also physically how the exhibitions are going, so that everybody understands how we move forward. Thank you. Buntu, over to you.
Thank you again, Nandombi, and thank you to everyone. That was nothing but short of amazing, nothing but short of inspiring here at the Innovation and Technology South African Pavilion. The DTIC is very close to the ecosystem. Technology and innovation not only supports, but also listens. An example that's certainly worth looking at and clearly shown in today's session for other supporters, especially public organizations are on the continent and around the world. And this platform shows that, and we want to thank you for your partnership in this sense and the ongoing support, as well as opportunity to build the South African innovation and technology ecosystem together. Thank you as well to the speakers for today for sharing your inspiration, and as well as about the opportunity, the context of the opportunities that is being presented today. And thank you to the pitchers. Your hearts, your minds, your vision has been poured out today. This is your day, but it is, of course, a continued process because the exhibition booths will be available this week online. Here, there is thousands of visitors over the last couple of months, where we will make sure that there's traffic that's driven to these, and you'll be able to find them here. So if you go onto the platform, when you logged in to get into this session, you would have seen auditorium on your left, and on the right, you will see exhibition. When you click onto that section, you will then be able to enter all the exhibitors that are registered on the South African Pavilion. And all the pictures from today will be on there this week. However, this content, the pictures from today, will be shared as a recap to all the registrants, as well as the registrations on the event platform. So if you have attended this, please do look out in your email as a registrant. You'll be receiving these pictures, as well as links to the exhibitors and more information about how to contact these entrepreneurs to take the next steps with them. So please do look out for that, and I trust that you will be able to get in touch with them. And of course, we will be sharing these same contents and so on through our DTCIC channels, as well as the S Innovation Summit channels. And so I want to thank you to the team as well that has made this session today possible, working in the background, behind the curtains. We do have the team at the S Innovation Summit. Truly, truly thank you for bringing this together and taking South Africa's innovation in technology and startups onto a global platform. This, of course, is an ongoing step to our SA Innovation Summit 2022 later this year in September, where we hope to see you there as well. So please do keep a lookout as well, that later this week, on the 10th of March, 9 a.m. South African time, 11 a.m. Dubai, United Emirates time, a session looking at what is the investment opportunity on the continent, investing in Africa's early stage startups, and why the time is now. Now is certainly the time for the African narrative to be rechanged, rewritten, and ever so taken from our visions as participants on this session and across the world and into reality. So please do join, look out for that information and join that session on the 10th, Investing in Africa's Early Stage Startups, Why the Time is Now. Thank you again for coming today. Feel free to reach out on our social media channels, as well as the Team SA Expo 2020 Pavilion. You'll find them as well on social media channels, and these will be shared via registrations, emails. All the best. Thank you again. And as we say in Africa, a home is not a home unless it is visited. So please do come visit in South Africa and connect with us in the near future. Goodbye.
Thank you, Buntu. Thank you so much.